What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Servida and welcome to another episode of Trap Theory. If you don't know what this is, we break down the theory of popular trap songs, so hopefully it can give you ideas and inspiration for your next beat. The beats we're looking at today are Lucid Dreams by Wrld and Tour by Lil Uzi Vert. Let's get into it. This video is brought to you by Melodies. Melodies is a desktop app that teaches you how to play the piano. All you need is a MIDI controller. Not only is this app great for learning to play piano, it's also a great tool to help you understand music theory along the way. After playing a few lessons, not only will it improve your piano playing skills, but it will also give you a lot of ideas for new bass lines, chord progressions, and melodies. And once you know how to play the piano, a lot of opportunities open up to you as a producer. For example, your workflow is going to be much faster. You can start incorporating this new skill at live shows. You will no longer need to rely on a session musician, or you could be that session musician. The possibilities are endless. Here I'm playing one of the lessons. I'm doing one of the harder difficulties because I'm nice with the keys. The interface overall is really good and it kind of just feels like I'm playing a game. If you want this app, all you have to do is click the first link in the description. It is free to download. So let's look at Lucid Dreams first. I'm gonna play the whole thing. Let's take a look at this app first because there's obviously a recurring pattern going on. So the first thing you can hear right away is the syncopation. I mentioned this in the last episode, so it's really emphasizing the weak beats. So if you hear it with the metronome, so notes like this one and this one really stick out. And in terms of the notes, they're actually playing arpeggios. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much a broken chord. So this would be a chord that's playing together, and then a broken up chord would mean spacing it out. So they're playing in different spots. And since these are broken chords, if we put them together, we can figure out what chords are playing. So for example, this one is an F sharp minor. We have this one here. It looks like a C sharp minor. We have this one here. It looks like a B minor. And this last chord is actually a suspended fourth. If you look closely, you can tell by the bass that this is a C sharp. This is the fourth, and the fifth would be this G sharp here. And then it moves down into this F, which is the third. In terms of these bass lines, it's pretty much following the chords except for this E. Now the second chord's an inversion because this E is in the bass, and we already know before that the chord is a C sharp minor. And the reason this is probably an E is because this is being played by an actual guitar. So it's easier to move from F sharp to E instead of the root, which is down here, especially when you're playing all this stuff at the top. Now for the second part, it's pretty much the exact same except for this first chord here. If you listen to it, it sounds a little bit different, and it's because of this D instead of this C sharp. Now if we look closer, this D creates a new chord right there, D major. And then this F sharp is still in the bass, so now it's a D major with an inversion. So now we're at the second half, and this part is a lot more melodic, while the other part was more like a pattern. So let's hear it first. So we have this D in the bass, so we can assume this chord is a D major, but there's nothing really solidifying it because everything at the top is pretty much just a melody. So the next chord is a suspended chord. We have an A major suspended 2. So here's a regular A major chord. And the reason it's a suspended 2 is because this A moves up to the B, 1, 2. And then it resolves back down to the A at the second half. This next chord is pretty simple. It does another arpeggio, so we can see it's a C sharp major. But if you noticed before, the C sharp chord in the beginning was a minor with this E right here. So that means the song is switching between natural minor and harmonic minor. So I'll show you really quick the difference. And the difference between natural minor and harmonic minor is you move this E up right here. That's why some of the C sharp chords are major or minor. So if you want to make your beats a bit more interesting, try switching up between both of them. And these last 4 bars are pretty much just straight up chords. We have this D major here. We have the C sharp major, which makes it still a harmonic minor. And then we have the tonic, which is the F sharp minor. That's the whole thing. Let's listen to it one more time. So this one's XO Tour Life by Lil Uzi Vert. Let's listen to the whole thing first. So this first half is pretty simple. Once again, we're doing the arpeggios, the broken chords. And the reason arpeggios are so effective is because they're giving you harmony and rhythm at the exact same time. So this first chord is pretty special. We have this G in the bass, we have this F sharp, and we have this B. So if we move this down and we put this D here, we can tell that it's a G major 7 chord. Major 7th chords are really interesting. So let's take out this F sharp. We're left with a major chord, right? If we bring it back, we get rid of this G. Now we're left with a minor chord. And that's why it's so cool, because it's giving you a minor chord on top of a major chord, and that's giving you a vibe that's kind of in between happy and sad. So this is pretty much the same chord, we just don't have that F sharp in there. And now we have this third chord. And if you look closely, if we move these down, we have a minor 7th chord. And it's kind of like the opposite of a major 7th chord. So we have the minor chord at the bottom, and we have the major chord at the top. And here's the last chord. So we only have an A and a C sharp, but we can assume there's an E here, even though we don't hear it. Now the second half is a really good example of variation because it's playing the exact same chord progression as the first half, but now there's a lot more patterns to make it more interesting. Originally we had one instrument going on, now we have 3. So the first thing we have is this bass. So like I said before, we're following the exact same chord progression. So if we look at the bass, we can realize it's not following just the chords by itself, because we know that the first 2 chords are a G. So this F sharp acts as a passing tone to get to this B. And we also know that this last chord is an A major, so having this C sharp here makes it an inversion. And the next thing that happens is this flute comes in, it does a really simple rhythm, and it only plays 2 notes that just go up the octave, and it repeats that the whole time. And the reason this works is because they're all playing in chord tones. So this F sharp is the 7th in G major 7. This F sharp is the 5th in B minor. This E is the 5th in A major. And the only one that isn't a chord tone is this E at the second half. And that's okay because we're playing the G major 7 again, so it's kind of on the weak beat, so it's kind of forgivable that way. So the last thing that's added are these bells, and they're pretty much just doing arpeggios. And if you look closely, it does an ascending arpeggio, and then a descending one. So we go up, and then we go down, playing the exact same notes, and then it repeats like that. And the reason these bells work so well is because they're bringing in new rhythm to the song. So this first half, it's really slow and simple, like this. And then we get into the subtle variations like that that make the beat a lot more interesting. Let's listen to the whole thing one more time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys want me to do another episode of this, make sure you comment below songs you want me to do next. And I'll see you guys soon.
If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. If you like this video, leave a like. If you really like this video, subscribe. If you didn't like this video, leave. Just leave.
Get out of here.